You know, writing often takes you in unintended directions, and this is what happened with my paper when I started writing, and the paper I'm using for my presentation. I started to give an account of what happened on the ground as we fought what I call the Progressive Coalition, fought the conservative members of the Texas Board of Education. And one of the things that was obvious in this account that emerges in my account is that this Progressive Coalition was very impressive. The numbers alone demonstrate that there's large numbers of people that were involved in rallies, demonstrations, meetings, and the hearings, giving testimony, and so forth and so on. One of the things that this account leads me to conclude that I'm going to jump through very quickly is that the faculty in Texas particularly was not present for the most part. There were around 15 people from universities and colleges of Texas that participated directly in all these activities, and they were very important. Of course, people from at a distance participated as well by endorsing the AHA letter of protest, and the letter that Keith Erickson and myself and UT El Paso circulated on the internet. We got over 1,500 signatures from faculty throughout the country. That was very useful. But on the ground there at Austin, there were very few faculty. And that then led me to something else in this account that I was giving. I'm beginning to look at how the conservative reform movement in education, of course, is now present in higher education. And given the lack of presence of the faculty from Texas on the ground in this fight, I felt that we were not preparing ourselves for the fight that is now going to be occurring in our campuses. The fight in defense of academic freedom. The conservatives are not limiting their fight to the public school curriculum. That fight was very important. It had to be fought. But there's an impending fight that requires that we be experienced in these kinds of things, and that we be connected, allied with organizations like the ones that were involved in this fight. One of the things I observed is overlapping networks of organizations. In my estimation, this is a rough estimation, tens of thousands of people were contacted directly by the Mexican-American, African-American Legislative Caucus, the Mexican-American Genealogical Societies from the state of Texas, the Freedom Action Network, and many other groups. My point is that, as I make now the transition to the second part of my account, is that we're not sufficiently prepared. And I'd like to comment on some things that I've been observing recently in the state of Texas that may be occurring elsewhere. But let me read now this section. I think the first salvo that was fired occurred at A&M, at least a recent statement in favor of a K through 12 like accountability system that is now appearing in our campuses. Let me read this section. Texas A&M University, Governor Rick Perry's alma mater, has led in the call for accountability in higher education by applying a metrics-based assessment of faculty efficiency that is known as the Academic Financial Data Compilation. According to a letter from President Robert Berdahl of the Association of American Universities, the Chancellor McKinney of Texas A&M University, the compilation assessment, this assessment compares, quote, the cost of each faculty member, meaning the salary plus benefits, to the income generated, meaning tuition generated by enrollments of students in classes, and to yield a positive in the black number or a negative in the red number. The outcome of this assessment, along with the amount of research funds that the faculty person has generated and student evaluations, will be tied to his or her compensation at the universities. The report was released after an open records request by the Chronicle of Higher Education. It concluded that faculty members in the 11 campus Texas A&M University system were bringing in more money than they were costing. So we did well in that assessment at A&M. But it's a serious move in introducing an accountability system in higher education. The Texas A&M initiative could be discounted as an ill-advised and lone attempt to curry favor with the public and the legislature at a time higher costs and shrinking budgets. Judith Saffarini, one of the most respected members of the Texas Senate and chairwoman of the Senate Higher Education Committee, suggested otherwise. She reportedly stated that the Texas A&M reforms may well be part of a coordinated statewide effort involving Governor Perry, Perry's conservative appointees to the boards of regents of UT and A&M, and the Texas Public Policy Foundation, or TPPF, a highly influential conservative think tank based in Austin. Berdahl, in his letter to McKinney, went so far as A&M's assessment was the brainchild of the TPPF. He may not be off the mark, since A&M's compilation assessment and report followed very closely the prescriptions for such an initiative in a 22-page document entitled Breakthrough Solutions that was authored by the TPPF. This document was attached to the A&M report, and it has been circulating among legislators and regents from both universities. The Breakthrough Solutions does more than recommend the kind of assessment that A&M has used on its faculty. It also includes recommendations for reforms, including separate teaching and research tracks, higher education funding through student-directed scholarships, a new national accrediting agency that will replace existing ones, presumably the AAU and the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And it also recommends university-wide bonus arrangements for the faculty that will reward good teaching on the basis of, quote, results-based or outcomes-based, quote, models that mostly include student evaluations. In short, the proposed evaluation undervalues the research-driven model of academia at the same time that it measures quality instruction and overall faculty effectiveness with a cost-effective analysis, or as President Berdahl puts it, a customer satisfaction survey. I have other things here that I can't address because I've run out of time, but the University of Texas also has a couple of task forces that are looking at ways of producing a more efficient workforce at the University of Texas. Some of the same language that appeared in the TPPF document appears in the deliberations over the appointments of the task forces. There's also a House Bill 9 titled Higher Education Outcomes-Based Funding Act that I don't have time to address. That it calls for applying, evaluating maths, the sciences, basically math, biology, and engineering, and tying the results of their assessments to compensation for faculty. The problem is that if this passes, it may not pass, but if it does, it means that university funding overall will be dependent on the assessments of faculty in the hard sciences, which means that it undervalues the work that we do in liberal arts, for one.